Beer stands as one of the oldest produced beverages in human history and represents far more than a simple drink. Today, beer is enjoyed casually across the world, but thousands of years ago, it was deeply connected to survival, spirituality, agriculture, and social organization. In many early societies, beer was not just consumed, it was respected, traded, ritualized, and sometimes even worshipped. Archaeological discoveries show that beer-like fermented beverages date back at least 13,000 years. Evidence from Rakafet Cave in Israel suggests that the Natufian culture produced fermented grain-based drinks long before large-scale agriculture developed. Researchers discovered microscopic starch granules and plant residues inside carved stone mortars, indicating that early humans were crushing grains and allowing them to ferment naturally. Many scientists believe these drinks were prepared specifically for ritual feasts and burial ceremonies, showing that fermentation was connected to social and spiritual life from the very beginning. The discovery of fermentation was most likely accidental. Naturally occurring yeast in the environment can ferment sugars found in fruits and grains. Early humans may have noticed that stored fruits or wet grains began to bubble, change taste, and create intoxicating effects. Over time, they learned to repeat and control this natural process, marking one of the earliest examples of humans intentionally manipulating microbiology long before they understood what microorganisms were. Some researchers propose a fascinating theory. Beer may have influenced the birth of agriculture itself. Growing grains required time, labor, and organization. Early communities may have been motivated not only by food production, but also by the desire to produce fermented beverages. As grain storage, farming tools, and settlement structures improved, beer production became closely tied to the development of early civilizations. During the Neolithic era, fermentation techniques became more refined and intentional. Chemical analysis from archaeological sites in Iran suggests beer production around 7,000 years ago. In Mesopotamia, cuneiform tablets from around 6,000 years ago depict people drinking beer from large shared containers using long reed straws. This method helped avoid solid grain residue floating in early beer mixtures. By the time of the Sumerians, beer had become a central part of society. Workers were often paid in beer rations, demonstrating its economic importance. Brewing was also considered sacred work. In Sumerian mythology, the goddess Ninkasi was believed to protect and oversee brewing. The famous hymn to Ninkasi is not only a religious text, but also one of the oldest recorded recipes in human history, describing steps of the brewing process in poetic form. Ancient beers were very different from modern filtered beers. They were thicker, less carbonated, and often sour or earthy in taste. Ingredients varied widely and could include barley, wheat, dates, herbs, and wild plants. Beer was typically consumed fresh, as preservation techniques were limited. Beyond nutrition, beer played a powerful social role. Drinking together strengthened group identity and trust. It was present at weddings, harvest celebrations, religious ceremonies, and political gatherings. Some historians argue that beer and bread together form the technological and nutritional backbone of early urban societies. As civilizations expanded, beer production diversified across regions. In Africa, fermented drinks were made from millet and sorghum. As in Europe, barley-based brewing became dominant. In East Asia, rice-based fermented beverages developed. Each region adapted fermentation based on climate, crops, and local traditions, creating thousands of unique beverage variations. During the Middle Ages in Europe, beer became an everyday staple. Clean drinking water was not always available, especially in growing cities. Low-alcohol beer was often safer than water because boiling and fermentation reduced harmful microorganisms. Even children sometimes drank weak beer as a hydration source. The Industrial Revolution transformed beer production dramatically. Scientific understanding of yeast, temperature control, and sanitation allowed brewers to create consistent, large-scale production. The invention of refrigeration in the 19th century enabled the creation of lager beer, which required cold fermentation and eventually became one of the most popular beer styles globally. It is a discovery that helped shape agriculture, supported the growth of cities, strengthened social bonds, influenced religious practices, and contributed to the development of early economies. Every glass of beer today carries a story that began thousands of years ago, a story of human curiosity, experimentation, survival, and the constant drive to understand and transform the natural world.